The 30-year Treasury just hit 5.28%. The last time it was here, the financial crisis was about to hit, but it's not 2007. Here's what's really happening. One chart connects everything that you're seeing right now. Bitcoin rallying, oil prices staying high, Nvidia's valuation getting crushed, Ray Dalio warning about debt. All of it points back to the same story. And if you understand that story, you know exactly what to do with your money. Let's look at the 30-year Treasury over the last 20 years. Back in 2020, it bottomed out around 1.3%. That was the pandemic. The Fed printed money, rates went to zero, bonds became worthless on a yield basis, so everyone piled into stocks instead. But look at what's happened since then. We're now at 5.28%. That's not a massive move, and it's not done moving yet. So why is it rising? Well, three reasons. First, the deficit. America is spending money that it doesn't have. We're running massive financial deficits. That means that we have to issue more Treasury bonds. More supply pushes yields higher. Second, foreign buyers are leaving the table. Japan used to buy everything. China used to buy everything. Now they're reducing. So who's selling bonds into a rising rate environment? Almost nobody. So prices fall and yields rise. Third, Japan's yields are competing for capital. The Japanese government bonds are now yielding around 1% to 1.5%. I know it's small, but it's higher than it was. So capital that used to chase U.S. securities is now looking at Japanese bonds too. It's creating a bidding war for yield anywhere that it exists. All of this basically combines into one simple fact. Bond prices are falling and yields are rising. And that's the environment that we're in. Now, the Fed tried something. They announced $4 billion in Treasury operations, basically buying up their own debt to prop up prices and then push those yields down. Sounds like quantitative easing, right? It's not really. It's emergency support. It's not stimulus. And they're trying to keep the market from breaking. And guess what? It didn't work, and it probably won't work. Yields kept climbing, and they're still going to keep climbing. And here's the difference. Quantitative easing is when the Fed buys bonds to inject money into the economy and lower rates everywhere. The goal is stimulus. And this buyback operation is damage control because they're stepping in because yields are moving too fast. The market's pricing something in. And that something is the reality that interest rates are going to stay high for a long time. High Treasury yields ripple through every asset class. First, it starts with gold. Gold just hit $46.62 an ounce again. It's a signal. Investors are scared. When yields are boring, Treasury bonds are north of 5%. Holding cash actually makes sense for the first time in years. But investors don't trust cash, do they? They don't trust the purchasing power, so they buy gold instead. See how that works? Then there's Bitcoin. Bitcoin's on a little mini tear, up big over the last couple of weeks. People are calling it a hedge against inflation. Maybe, but here's what's really happening. It's a liquidity escape valve. When Treasury yields are going up and equity valuations are falling and the economy feels unstable, money flows into speculative assets. Bitcoin fits that. It's liquid, you can sell it fast, and it's not correlated to anything else the market's worried about right now. Now, let's talk about Nvidia. Nvidia is a bellwether stock. And when Nvidia gets hit, the market's sending a signal. And the signal is this. High discount rates hurt stocks. Growth companies like Nvidia don't make money today. They're supposed to make money 5-10 years from now. Now, they make a little bit of money today, of course. But the further out that cash flow is, the more sensitive the stock is to interest rates. When the 30-year Treasury is at 5.28%, you're discounting those future cash flows harder. The present value of Nvidia's AI revenues 5 years out just got smaller. So here's what we've got. Treasury yields are rising because of deficits, because foreign buyers are gone, because Japan is competing. The Fed tried to step in with buybacks and it didn't work. And that means the market doesn't believe rates are coming down. Gold, on the other hand, is at record highs. Bitcoin is rallying. Nvidia, well, it's not getting crushed, but it's going down. And these aren't separate stories. They're all one story. They all point to the same conclusion. And Ray Dalio saw this coming. He came out and said, buy gold, buy Bitcoin, get out of cash. And if you think about it, that's exactly what we're seeing play out in the market right now, isn't it? Investors are rotating out of bonds, out of cash, into hard assets and alternative stores of value. Dalio is one of the smartest investors on the planet. When he moves, people pay attention. And he's moving toward assets that preserve value when currencies get inflated and rates stay high. But there's something deeper here. Dalio's also been warning about debt. The United States has too much debt. We're running structural deficits that don't go away in good times. We're spending on defense like a ton. We're spending on entitlements like a ton. We're spending on stimulus. And the math at 5.28% yields, the cost of servicing that debt keeps climbing. Eventually, the government has to choose. Raise taxes, cut spending, or let inflation run hot to erode the real value of the debt. Here's what this environment means for income. When rates are high, equity valuations are going to be under pressure, and that creates opportunity. Companies that pay dividends, companies that generate free cash flow, those are the ones that are holding up. Investors are rotating into income-producing stocks because they need the yield. A 4% dividend looks a lot better when Treasury bonds are paying 5.28%. And this is where covered calls come in. You own a stock, that stock is maybe down from where it was, but it still pays dividends and generates cash flow. You sell a call option on that stock. Someone pays you a premium for the right to buy your stock at a higher price. That premium is income, real income, today, not theoretical income 5 years from now. You keep the dividend, you keep the premium, that's cash flow. Now, when you sell a covered call, it can be in the money or out of the money. Out of the money basically means that the strike price is higher than the current stock price. You keep your shares. You keep collecting premiums month after month. The stock has room to run up, but you're still getting paid. In the money means that the strike price is lower than the current stock price. More premium, but higher chance that you'll be assigned and you have to sell your shares. Unless, of course, you roll, which is what I encourage. Does this matter in a 5.28% yield environment? Because growth stocks are getting expensive relative to their earnings. But value stocks, dividend-paying stocks, blue chip companies, they're sitting right here. They're stable, they're dependable, and they can support a covered call strategy. You're not speculating on price appreciation. What you're doing is you're collecting income, dividends plus premiums. Now that's a real return. That's what investors are hunting for right now. Building an income strategy around covered calls isn't complicated. You start with stocks that you already own or stocks that you believe in long term. You sell call options against them and you create income. Out of the money to keep your upside, you collect the premiums every single month. The stock price can bounce around, but the market can also be volatile, and you're getting paid to own those shares while you own them. And the higher Treasury yields climb, the more valuable that monthly income becomes. Here's what you need to know about covered calls. They're not free money. There are trade-offs. If the stock rallies hard, you might miss some upside because you sold a call. If the stock crashes, you still own it. The call premium doesn't protect you on the downside, but in a sideways market, in a high rate environment where growth is suspect, a covered call strategy works. And it works because you're not trying to hit a home run. You're stacking little small wins. So let's do the math. Let's say that you own 100 shares of stock trading at $50, and that stock pays a 3% dividend. So you're getting $150 a year, or about $37.50 a quarter. Now you sell a covered call out of the money. The premium you collect is $2 per share. That's $200. 4 months and you've doubled your annual dividend. 7 or 8 months and you've made 50% on top of your dividend. That's 6, 7, 8% a year in total return. So in a high rate environment, that's pretty competitive. The opportunity is now, right now. Treasury yields are signaling that the environment has changed. The Fed isn't going to cut rates. Growth stocks are going to struggle. But income producing assets and strategies built around them, they're going to be prized. This is the time to own dividends. This is the time to own cash flow. Now, because income is the ballast. Income keeps your portfolio stable when everything else is volatile. Now, if you want to learn how to build a covered call strategy, how to identify the right stocks, how to time your call sales and maximize your income, we've got everything mapped out. Head over to cashflowmachine.net. You'll find everything that you need to get started. We also break down Nvidia's earnings, which are coming live on Wednesday night. That's going to be huge. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And the 30-year Treasury being at 5.28% is telling you something important. It's not a crisis signal like 2007, but it's a reset. The world of free money is over. The world of high growth valuations is over. The world of 0% interest rates is over. But the world of cash flow, well, that one's just getting started.